Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Move Me Back series. Today I'm here with Papa Yao, P. Everyone calls you P, right? So
yeah.
I want to call you P.
Sure, go for it.
It's a lot easier for me too. So I actually got your contact from my brother because when he came to Ghana, he said he came to see you, and he was like, I have to go and see you because you have this amazing school, and he was telling me some amazing stuff. And I was like, okay, let me go and see. I thought maybe he was exaggerating, but I got here today and I was so surprised at this amazing school that you have here. I'm shocked.
Why
really
are you surprised though?
First of all, I didn't expect it to be as big as it was.
No, okay. No.
Like it's the grounds and everything. Like I was just so surprised. Like I felt like my brother didn't really hype it enough for me to know what I was coming to see. You know, I didn't even bring my drone, so we had to go home and get the drone because I was like, I have to capture this on camera properly. You know, but I'm here now.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to Faith Montessori School.
Lovely. I'm glad to be here.
Sure.
So let me start by asking you, are you Ghanaian?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And how long have you been in Ghana?
Think I moved back about 6-7 years ago.
Oh, so it's been a while.
Yes,
okay.
it has.
I didn't know it had been that long. Oh, that's really nice.
6-7 years ago. So Faith Montessori School was founded by my parents back in 1988.
Oh, so it's long-standing.
Yes, it is. And it used to be in Kanda, a bit more central.
Right.
And parents found the space in Bawe and felt moved and called to set up the school here.
Wow.
So Dad had been on my case for, gosh, 7-10 years to convince me to move back.
Really?
To Ghana. Yep. It took several Christmases, flying back over Christmas, being ambushed by uncles and aunties alike, say, when are you moving back? Why don't you move back? Come and help your parents. Come and help your parents.
Yeah.
Come and help your parents. And in a way, I think the timing and everything all worked out in terms of, I think God has a plan for us. Right?
Yeah.
So move back, and in a short space of time, we've lost both parents. But thankfully, we're here and we're able to help carry on the legacy of what they've left behind.
Wow.
You didn't know that, did you?
I didn't know that. Like, my face is actually shocked. I did not know that.
Exactly.
You lost both parents?
Yeah, lost mom in November.
Yeah.
So 5 months ago. And lost dad coming up to 3 years now.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry to hear that.
Life.
But yes, indeed
Exactly.
it is. Indeed it is. But you're here to continue the legacy, which is great.
Indeed.
So why didn't you want, so you moved from the UK, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what was your reservation in moving in the first place?
So I think part of it was I was settled in London. Okay. You've been in the UK. Once you establish yourself, it's so background, civil engineering, worked in IT, moved into finance. The banking world, the financial world is tough.
Yeah.
So you work through the ranks, and just when you've broken through, you're starting to see the fruits of all that hard work.
Yeah.
And to go, nah, I'm walking away from this.
Yeah.
I'm leaving this.
That's going to be hard.
That was difficult.
And you're moving to somewhere where there's no safety net.
Exactly. Well, in my case, there is a kind of a safety net because I knew I was coming back to help my parents with the school.
Okay.
Right. But it's still walking away from a reputation and everything that you've built over the years.
And it's a complete career change too.
Indeed. So you go from civil engineering, IT, finance, project management, etc., and now in education.
Wow.
Right. But what you quickly realize is those skills are transferable. Right. The skill set, the various experiences you've had throughout your career, your journey. You get to utilize all. One thing I love about this role is I get to utilize a variety of different skills.
Right.
Because the day-to-day challenges vary so much.
Yeah. So how was it for you kind of taking over the school? Was it kind of like a smooth transition for you, or what was it like? I'm so intrigued because I just feel like, as you said, it's a career change.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And you're coming to a country that, even though you're from here, it's still kind of new to you.
Sure.
To live here and coming on holiday are two very different things.
All right. So in terms of a bit more of my background then. So born in the UK.
Yeah.
But I came back to Ghana for secondary school, for primary school and secondary school as well. So before going back to London for uni. Coming back initially, there were some similarities in terms of I was working in operations at UBS.
Yeah.
So my initial responsibility coming back to Faith was to work in operations. And so there are some similarities because operational processes are operational processes. But there are stark differences because in London, in the UK, the training is to learn to delegate, not to micromanage.
Right.
You move to Ghana, you have to micromanage.
You absolutely have to.
And that takes some getting used to.
And it's time consuming because where you could be using your efforts for something else, you can't always, you know.
No, you can't. But then I think it just comes with the territory, right? So if you shift the mindset slightly and go, well, look, different terrain, if this is what is required, then this is what I'll put in, then that's a surefire way of being able to adjust. What you find is a lot of people want to try and act like they're still in the US or in the UK, even though they're in a very different terrain. There's similarities, but a lot of things are very different.
Exactly.
The way you approach people is different. You can be a bit more forceful and abrupt and direct outside. However, in Ghana, you have to recognize that if you're speaking to somebody who is older than you, you have to give them that due respect.
Absolutely.
And so on and so forth.
Absolutely. You've said it perfect, because I was just about to ask you, because you said that, you know, moving here, you have to learn to be able to adjust to certain things. And I've actually found from my own personal experience and meeting people that some people find that adjustment hard. So they feel that they want to come in and say to someone, do this, do this, do this, do this. And if you don't speak to the person in the right way, it will never get done. And sometimes people struggle with how to communicate how you're supposed to do it here. As you said, if someone's older than you, you have to give them a certain level of respect. Even if they're working for you, you still have to give that respect. And I feel like these are small cultural things that people need to learn in order to be able to live here, because you're never going to be able to change that.
No.
Never.
Nope. No. Plus, if you think about it, though, do we want to change it?
Right.
What is wrong about being respectful to your elders?
Right.
What is wrong about greeting people when you enter a room?
Right.
Right. We are social beings, after all.
Yes.
Right. So it's different. We should recognize it's different. I think that's the first step.
Yes.
And then once you adjust to that, you actually realize, hey, okay. So for example, a project that might take 2 months to execute in London might take 9 months to 18 months to do in Ghana. That's not bad. It's just the terrain is different. So you'll just be a bit more patient.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
And then once you are, you make a success of it.
Do you feel that puts people off sometimes? Because I'm sure, okay, you've been here for a good number of years now. So have you seen people come and go for reasons such as that, not being able to adjust into the culture? So
I've seen some of that, not in the time I've been here, but before I moved down. I've had friends come in to set up businesses, and after a year or two, give up for a variety of reasons and then move back.
Really?
To the UK. So I mean, when I moved back, a lot of people expected me to be back in London in a year or two. I had friends or colleagues at my old workplace who would ask questions about, P, you're doing well here, why do you want to move back to Ghana? What's in Ghana? And then that's where the old stereotypes of Africa come into play, because the perception is everybody in Ghana is in mud huts.
Do you own a mud hut?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Maybe I'll look into getting one. Right. But there is that perception. Now, I didn't just move in terms of just come down with no I guess I came down a couple of times before deciding it was time to move. Also, family moved down before me. The time worked because I had a young family, and I'd always wanted them to grow up in Ghana. And keep the childhood. Stay innocent for a lot more time, then let's try and preserve that childhood innocence for as long as we possibly can. Yes, there is social media. Yes, there's YouTube, etc. But I still remember bits of my childhood in terms of being able to run around.
Yes.
Not being cooped indoors because it's raining or it's drizzling. And if you're in London right now watching this, I'm sure you know.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
It's summer every day, not the 3 days of summer you get in London.
Yeah.
Okay. So I wanted them to have that environment. I also feel the educational system we have in Ghana is a lot more rigorous and strenuous than what you would have elsewhere. And I benefited from that. So why not have my kids get that? So, plus, Faith is a great school, so why not have them experience that? It also gave them a chance to spend more time with their grandparents. And in hindsight, I don't regret any of the decisions in terms of coming down extra, because it's worked out okay. It's worked out okay.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
So you having gone to school here, do you feel like it gave you certain advantages? The reason I'm asking is because some people have told me over the years that if your children go to like very good schools here, when it comes to them growing up and perhaps wanting to have a certain type of career, those people that they went to school with can actually help in that, because you have this, they tend to stick together all the way through life. Do you feel like you had that type of advantage by going to school here?
So maybe I'll answer the question in two parts. I definitely recommend kids having the education, initially maybe primary and secondary in Ghana or anywhere in Africa.
Right.
Two reasons. The work here is a bit more strenuous. Also, representation matters. When your child is going to school in Ghana, for example, the teachers are black. They're also exposed to an environment where the president is black, the accountant is black, the pilot is black, the security guard is black, and so on and so forth. So they go through the educational system with no glass ceilings. The sky is literally the limit. So when you ask a child in Ghana, what do you want to be? I want to be president. I want to be a doctor. I want to be... So they're aiming very high. Right? And the reason I make this distinction is, whilst working at UBS, we used to do a lot of work with schools in the local community. And we would have kids from schools in Hackney come and visit us in the offices. And you'd ask, what do you want to be? What do you want to do? A lot of the kids who were black, Asian, etc. didn't have ambitions of being the president, being a pilot. What do you want to do? Oh, maybe I'll work in Tesco like this. Maybe I'll go work in Sainsbury's. Maybe I'll be a security guard. Those who wanted to break the mold would say, oh, fine, maybe I want to be a footballer or I want to be an entertainer, because that's what they see on the media. One student actually said, oh, they're surprised they'd come into the city and they'd seen black people because they didn't think it was an option for them. Okay, so Hackney, Liverpool Street, 10 minutes away. And yet there is that mindset and that perception that, no, that's not for us. We don't belong. That's not, So
I never thought of it like
that. And it's interesting because that's not something that is preached. However, the environment is such that it gets ingrained into them, so the ambitions get lowered.
I never considered that for a second. That is so absolutely true. That is critical. I think that is like probably going to be the most important thing you say in this video so far anyway. That is really, really important. Representation really does matter.
It really does. So when young girls, young guys see people who look like them, sound like them, talk like them, occupying different roles, positions in society, what it does is it tells you that, I can achieve anything. And the difference is how much work I put into it, which is key. As opposed to an environment where you feel, regardless of how much effort I put into it, the system is rigged against me. So then people then lean towards trying to cheat the system as opposed to learning how to work with that system for not just your benefit, but society's benefit as a whole.
Wow. Okay. So you said two parts of the question.
All right. So now the second part would be, there was an incident at the gym. I think I was going to the Fitness First in Croydon then. And I was speaking to another guy there. And he made the comment saying, it's interesting how all the guys that he knows who maybe lived in Africa for a bit, schooled in Africa, etc., we all seem very focused and determined and very ambitious in terms of what we wanted to achieve. This is around the time when I was at uni.
Right.
And he was comparing that to the boys our age who were born and raised in London, but didn't seem to have the same sort of drive and ambition to want to do the most. Right. And I think that's a mindset where I've been through that experience.
Yeah.
And I remember at uni going, no, so yeah, of course I'm going to aim for a first or a two, and I'm not aiming for a 2-2 or a third. But you have people who come in with that mindset because they don't feel they can do better or should do better.
It's all mindset, I see.
Yep.
Because I think when you're here, you see that a lot of people are entrepreneur. No matter what they're doing, they're entrepreneur. They have some type of drive. Most people that live here don't do one thing. They do multiple things. And I guess if you've schooled here and that's all you've seen, that's what you're going to take with you. So if you decide to go back to the West and go and study or do whatever, you still take that mindset with you. So then you become really driven.
Yeah, you do. You did, because you've seen it in society. You've seen your parents do it, you've seen your uncles, you've seen your aunties, you've seen your neighbors. You go through a crowd and you see some people might have a little shop set up in front of the house. Right? Something
Making
that's basic
the
of
most,
that. But that's that drive that
that is it.
society gives you.
Wow. Gosh, I did not expect this interview to be like that. It's very interesting. Okay, so tell me some of the challenges you faced when you took over the school.
All right, so in terms of taking over, I wouldn't say I've taken over per se. So what it is we only lost mom 5 months ago.
Right.
So when we lost dad, mom and I were running the school.
You did it together.
We have wonderful stuff. They care about faith. So faith is, we talk of faith as a family, the faith family, and that's both management team, the staff, the parents, the children, etc., and alumni. And the dream has always been to see that legacy continue. Mom fell ill shortly after we lost dad, so that meant she wasn't around as much. So a lot of the running of the school fell on my shoulders. Now, since we've lost mom, my sister and brother are also getting a bit more involved. So especially with some of the stuff that mom was supervising before we lost her. She had a saying, teachers only do what you inspect. Okay?
Teachers only
do what you inspect.
What you expect, wow.
Inspect.
Oh, inspect.
Inspect.
Oh.
Right? Now, and it's quite true. So part of that then ties into the fact that you have to micromanage a lot more. So people don't always do the right things or what they're supposed to do because they're supposed to. They usually do it because they know it'll be checked, so you have to do it. Right? And it's human nature. Sometimes we're looking...
that applies to everything,
we're looking for shortcuts.
Right.
But we know that shortcuts usually lead to something that's...
Correct.
Right? So it's always better to do the tried and tested, as opposed to always looking for shortcuts. We do the Montessori methodology. It's quite scientific. So if there are 10 steps to be followed in the sequence of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then you follow that sequence because it's a proven method. What you sometimes find is somebody might decide, oh, but why do I need 3 and 4? Maybe I can go from 1 to 2. It's similar to, have you had a carpenter come and install something for you at home? Let's say you're assembling a desk from IKEA. Right. A hinge has 4 screws. The carpenter will use 2. You ask, but what about the other 2? And they tell you, oh, but it's fine, it'll work. It's still the same. It's that sort of mindset where you have to go through, no, you need 4 screws, that's why there are 4 holes, and that's why you have 4 screws. So if you're not going to use the other 2, what are you going to use it for? Right, so it's that sort of thing. So you do need to keep an eye on what's happening. And that's brilliant because no 2 days are ever the same. There's always something that's different that you get involved in. So tell me, because some people might not understand the whole Montessori, what makes that different to regular So the Montessori methodology is more about the child learning through play and also through touch, through experience, also at their own pace.
Right.
And I think that's key. And the reason I think that's key is because what you quickly realize is once you set up, and also it's more about the environment that you've created for them. Traditionally, we've had environments where the teacher is the fountain of all knowledge. You sit down and you listen to what is being taught, soak it up, and go and reproduce.
Yes.
What you have here in this space is the environment is set up. All they need to do is see the teacher demonstrate it, and at their own time, they'll go and pick up those tutors and start doing number sequences. They'll start doing a whole bunch. So the kids then tend to grow and develop at their own pace. That's not to say that they're not pushed along and guided, but the role here is more to facilitate the child's learning, because the child has to do the learning. And what you want to try and do is develop the kids so they become independent learners earlier than later, because that puts them in the right stead.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you something. Now, this has been a little bit touchy for some people, because I've had people mention this in videos and they've like had their heads blown off. Okay, so
I like how you decided to, well, you're not going to draw above, go for it.
Right, so some people have said that Ghanaians lack critical thinking, and that it starts from school. Would you say that the school system could have been part of that problem? I'm not saying that it's necessarily true.
Okay.
I'm just saying something I've heard.
Let me ask, my position is I disagree with that notion.
Okay.
Right. And so in terms of saying you can't label an entire people and say Ghanaians lack critical thinking. If you look outside of Ghana, you will see Ghanaians in decent, significant roles across the globe. From academia to government, etc. That does not marry with the Ghanaians lack critical thinkers. Okay, so I think the skill of critical thinking is definitely there.
Right.
There might be other factors in terms of why people think there's not a lot of critical thinking happening. But I think critical thinking as a whole exists. There might be social economic factors, might be a range of different political factors, etc., which might mean that people are not able to deliver or actualize whatever it is they might want to implement.
Right.
But yes, that would be my view.
I like how you've answered that.
Diplomatically.
Definitely, absolutely. Wow. So tell me something that you absolutely love about the fact that you've moved back to Ghana. What makes you fall in love with Ghana?
The weather.
The weather.
I don't know where my umbrella is.
You don't need to remember your umbrella in the morning, right?
Nope, exactly. Plus, you get used to, there's a change in pace that... Okay, so maybe let me answer it slightly different in terms of the things I don't miss. Right. I don't miss the commute into work. Right. I don't miss having to run for a train and hoping to get on. Because maybe it's gone from 8 carriages to 4 carriages and everybody's trying to squeeze themselves on. And you have everybody packed. It's wet, it's windy, it's cold, it's miserable. You get into the office and you're grumpy and you have deadlines, etc., that you need to meet. So that I don't miss. Right. That's compared to the very laid-back atmosphere that is Accra and Ghana. Right. Now, there are times on a project where you wish we weren't quite as laid-back. Right. However, on the whole, I think the quality of life being back home far exceeds the quality of life. And the levels of stress are different. Yes. When Ghana's not perfect, right? No one's saying Accra is perfect. However, on the balance, I'll take this. I'll take this, especially for the kids. Definitely. Better quality of life. So
I fully agree with what you just said. So as you said, Ghana's not perfect, but I feel like when you weigh up the problems you can have in the West and the problems that you can have in Ghana, for me, Ghana wins hands down every single time. Like there might be things that I would get frustrated about, but I'll be frustrated for a day maybe until I solve that thing, and then I'm happy again. And I can move on because the sun comes out the next day and I'm like, oh, it's sunny outside. Well, I just think about, okay, what can I wear today?
Yep.
You know, I just feel so good. I feel like I'm just living life here. I'm finally alive, if I can put it like that.
No, I agree.
Yeah, it just has this thing about it. I don't know.
Because I mentioned I got the family moved down first.
Yeah.
Part of it was for me to see how they would adjust to being back.
Yeah, it's a big factor.
And I also didn't want to give up my role in the UK just in case things didn't quite play out.
Did you take sabbatical?
No, actually I didn't. So there were times when I would come and work remotely from here, and they would assume I was in London, but I'd be working remotely just to see how things would settle.
Yeah.
There were a couple of times when I remember there was one manager I spoke to and I said, well, there was a project we were working on, but I had to be in Ghana. So when I mentioned I was going to be working from Ghana for the next 2 weeks, his first question was, but will you have internet access?
Oh.
So I said, don't worry, it's fine, it'll be fine. So then he calls me up on a Monday and we have a meeting. And at the end of the meeting, he goes, oh, so when are you going to Ghana? And I went, yeah, I've been in Ghana for the last week.
Oh, he didn't even notice.
He didn't know, exactly. So this goes back to that perception that people have about Africa and technology and development and all of that, right? Now, in the mornings, I do a video call with the kids. And there was one particular morning that I remember where I called them. London is raining again, right?
Yeah.
And it's dark and winter coat time.
Yeah.
And we have this video call and the kids are in the uniform and they're just getting out of the house. So you see sunshine, greenery, flowers, and all of that. And I asked myself, so why am I still here?
So how long did it take you from the moment you decided that you wanted to move back to Ghana to actually doing it?
So I'm not a spontaneous person. I need to think through things.
Oh, really? Okay.
Right. So for me, the fact that you see me pick up the phone now, maybe I've been thinking about picking up for a while. Right. I need to plan. Right. And I'm happy to plan things through. If it doesn't work out, what you do, and this is the project manager and me coming out is, you do a lessons learned. Okay, so why has that decision worked out? Why did it not work out? Just so you do better next time around.
Right.
So before I take a leap, I'd have weighed it up several times and gone, yeah, let's do this.
Really?
And then by making that decision, it helps me commit to the decision.
Okay, so you're not going to change your mind back after you've made that decision.
Exactly. And that doesn't mean that if you make the decision and it's wrong, you blindly follow. You can still adjust and go, okay, fine. Is it working? Yes, no. I guess one of the benefits, of living and working in the UK and the places I worked at was you learn very quickly to be self-aware. I didn't understand what your strengths are, understand what your weaknesses are, understand that it's okay not to be perfect at everything. That's normal, right? So by becoming self-aware, you quickly realize, okay, look, this is what I need in an environment. Can I get those things? These are the things these are my must-haves, the nice-to-haves, things I don't think I'd be able to cope with, and so on. So you plan it, and so once you work your brain through that process, it makes adjusting a lot easier.
I love that. It's really good. It sounds so level-headed. I really like it. It's good. It's good. What would be, just as a final question, what advice would you give to someone that is perhaps thinking of coming to Ghana and is not quite sure? What would be the one key piece of information you would give to them?
What I would say is go for it. Right? Go for it, because you're never going to have everything lined up neatly for you to go, now is the time. There'll always be a few doubts. But go, be open-minded and be patient. Understand it's new terrain, new environment. Even if you've been visited, if you've been away for the last 10, 20, 50, 30 years, things have changed. Things don't quite work the same as they are wherever you are. So if you come in open-minded and intentional about being patient and giving it a chance, should be fine.
I like that. That's really good.
Should be fine.
So where can people find out more about the school if perhaps maybe they want to send their children here, they want to inquire?
Oh, you're doing a promo for me. Okay.
Just a small one.
So Faith Montessori School, website faithms.edu.gh. I'll give you the Insta and Facebook handles, social media handles later.
I'll put those in the description box, that's
Sure,
fine. How many children does this school hold anyway?
So we keep the population between 500 and 600 students.
Wow.
So we can maintain a decent teacher-student ratio.
And from what age to what age?
At the 6-month-old babies, we have a baby land and it runs right through to the A-level students. So we do the Montessori for the younger ones, and we have a secondary and college where we do the Cambridge exam. So we're actually just beginning our May-June 2023 examinations for the IGCSE and A-level students.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay, so what if someone doesn't live in this area and they wanted to send their children here? Do you like to have a school bus or
So we have school buses that go from East Legon, hint, and then to all across Accra. We also have boarding facilities as well.
Oh, you have boarding facilities?
Yeah, we do, yeah.
I didn't know that, really?
Yeah, we do, yeah. So we have some of our students are from across Africa, some are from the UK, some are from the US. And they come, stay, term time, holidays, they go back, and then they come on back.
How did I not hear about this school before? Like,
timing is everything. God's time, right?
God's time. It's time. I can't argue with that.
There you go.
I love that. Anyway, thank you so much for speaking to me today. I really appreciate it. I've learned some really good stuff. The school is absolutely amazing. I hope people will definitely come and inquire with you some more because I think this is a great school.
They're all very welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
But I really want to see this school because I haven't really seen much.
Sure.
I only saw what I saw on the entrance in, but maybe you could take me around.
Sure, I'll take you around.
Guys, that is the end of today's video. I really hope you've enjoyed it. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Don't forget to also like, comment and share this video. Until next time, we are out. Nutitfafa.